Do, 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 do. Na, na, da, da, na, da. Okay, I didn't screw it up this time. All right. Hello, Trista. All right, continuing. All right, we're looking into stuff in David's office. This appears to be holding tanks for something. How should I know? No labels on anything, typical for a genius, but a nightmare for anyone trying to pick up after him. It's a lot more hard science than I expected here. Centrifuge and glass microscopes. Don't programmers do all their work with a keyboard? All right. It's like a fairly normal computer. If I'm lucky, the security will be fairly normal as well. Boot up complete username. Vocal commands. David Asher. Morgan. Guest. Thank you for logging in as a guest. Didn't recognize my voice, so I can probably rule out a vocal command being key to waking the android. Do you have a question? More than one. For now, though, what should I search for on his computer? Search file for Morgan. 23 results on the local drive. I can work with that. Mostly phone book and social data, but I don't recognize this file type. Some kind of personnel format. Date of birth, education, occupation, blood type, height, and weight. All right, buddy. A little invasive, don't you think? DNA and fingerprints. Now, why do you have that, David? My DNA isn't in any database. I've made sure of that. So he couldn't have bought this anywhere. He must have collected it himself from a wine glass, or like, it would have been easy to do. But why do it? Diagrams of human anatomy. The hands are highlighted. Most developed part of the human body, good for making stones, axes, and sending emails. Robots and frames can do just fine with claws or 3-digit imitations, but androids are expected to look like people and move like them too. Getting the hands right must be a big priority at Noble. That tree-like shape on the right is a neuron. Those branches receive inputs of varying weight, and then if the sum is greater than a certain threshold, the neurons fire, a 0 becomes a 1, and all the other zeros around it take that into consideration. Beat that a couple billion times a second, you've got a human brain. You've got the human brain, a computer powerful enough to simulate all of reality. That's the analogy I read in a magazine, anyway. Today, a podcaster I follow released some episodes from about 2015. I left a comment telling him you can tell they're pre-Trump because he references Godwin's law. Haven't seen one since college, but this must be a 3D printer. Some sort. Feels expensive enough to make other printers look like soda fountains by comparison. Better not mess with any of the settings. Alright, I'm starting to get a pretty clear picture of what it'll take to turn on this android. I've got the what for the where and how. I'll just have to manage. It's still just a piece of machinery. If it really won't turn on, I can always start hitting it. Morgan, there you are. I've looked in every registry I could find and every database I could get into, but I don't think this android's in the system. It was a long shot. Don't beat yourself up over it. Yes, but an android without the proper identification it's only buying or selling an android without proper identification that's illegal. And it doesn't seem like he ordered this online. I guess you're right, huh? Well, we'll have it registered soon enough anyway. I think I figured out what we need to do here. Oh, if David really wanted me to have this, he would have left some way for me to turn it on. What are you thinking? David had my fingerprints and my DNA on file. By requiring both, he could be reasonably sure that no one was powering up this android without my approval. You've done a swab before, haven't you? Every month for the company. Apparently they're building a database for the employee epigenetics cross-referenced with... Oh, sorry, my DNA and my fingerprint make the key. Now where do I find the lock? God, she's drooling. There was that diagram back in his shop. Was meant to be a literal handshake verification. Huh. Thought that would work. Me too. Lips are one of the most sensitive parts of the body. Not the worst place to make a scan, even if it is gross placing my finger there. Oh, that's still not doing it, huh? Come on, do I really need to push my finger deeper, jiggle the key? Oh man, you went right in there. Are you touching the tongue? It's blinking at me. Okay. Good moment. Long beat. Good morning to you, too. Cute. Hello. I've never seen you two before. I guess we should introduce ourselves then. Hi. This is Jessica Starling. She works for Dr. Asher. I'm Morgan, a friend of his. Got all that? I understand. She is Jessica Starling and you are Morgan... Last name unknown. No, Morgan is my last... Father told me about you. Aw, did he? Wait. Father? David. You had it call you Daddy? I'm referring to Dr. David Asher. Are you confused? That's not the word I'd use. Throw a bone beyond the grave for the good doctor and just move this thing along. Did David say that he was giving you to me, transferring ownership? Ownership? That is correct. And what else did mostly correct? Right, what else did he tell you? Many things. Can you specify? I thought conversation was the first thing David figured out how to program. Did Dr. Asher tell you anything that he wanted you to convey to Morgan? A message you were supposed to pass on? Yes. Jess, I think it's trying to... Oh, okay, sure. I'll give you two... Or, well, I'll give you some privacy, Morgan. I've actually got about 14 messages in the last 2 minutes, so... I'll just head back to the lab and take some calls, okay? Thanks, Jess. Yes. Thank you, Jess. You're welcome. Just the two of us now. So what do I call you? My name is Sarah. It's nice to meet you, Morgan. Trust me, pleasure's all mine. So, what's the message? Father told me I will be living with you from now on. And he told me that you would look after me. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Should it? A model this lifelike, with warmth and breath and something close to blood in its veins. Just what are you, anyway? You forgot my name already. It's Sarah. What were you built for? You're warm, obviously. You're not one of those physical therapy models, are you? That would be highly illegal. I haven't completed 500 hours of study at a state-approved massage therapy school. I haven't even completed 1 hour. What purpose did Dr. Asher design you for? I don't know the answer to that question. You don't know why he built you? No. Should I? How can you not? Do you? Would I be asking you if I did? I was wondering if it was headed that direction. I meant, do you know why you were created? Why were you born? Why? Why me? Why would you? Why are you doing this? You're a freak. A monster. What the hell's wrong with you? Please don't kill me. Please, why? Why? Why was a monster like you even born? Guess I walked into that one. I'm starting to wonder if you even had the Turing solution. Let's double check how they're using this in universe. David Asher's postgraduate thesis on intelligent pragmatic linguistics weighting, a body of work which would come to be known as the Turing solution, named for supposedly being the answer to all past, present, and future Turing tests. True to its name, Dr. Asher's base code has yet to fail any Turing test, a test designed to determine if given answers come from human or machine, applied to it with a success rate below 99.97%. A number of think tanks, charities, and corporations hold bounties for designing new Turing tests for the sole purpose of running them against David Asher's work, though none have announced the awarding of any prize money thus far. Okay. Father's framework for programming linguistics and artificial systems, and the body of work for which he first gained international recognition. Yeah, an international Do you have an answer to my question? An answer to why you were created? Why you exist? Occam's razor. I'm here because my parents wanted me. I see. Then I will give a similar answer. I was created because Father wanted to make me. Can't argue with that logic, can I? Can't argue with that logic. Father did say that you're a lawyer. Yeah, that's me. You're a lawyer, and I defeat you with logic. World-class, high-powered attorney, the best defense money can buy. So do you catch criminals? That's what cops do. Do you litigate criminals? That's what prosecutors do. Then do you fight for the underrepresented? Expose injustice, sue corrupt corporations and officials? I don't think anyone does that anymore. Then what do you do? I'm a criminal defense attorney. A defender of the innocent and powerless. That is a very childlike interpretation of what a criminal defense attorney is. Do you also, now that you know all about me, what can you tell me about yourself? I've never had to do that before. First time for everything. How old are you? I'm not sure I can give a satisfactory answer. 0 for 2 on answering simple questions. What's the date of your earliest memory? 2 years ago. And where were you constructed or assembled or whatever? What facility? I was not constructed at any facility. Father created me here. By himself. You're saying if I took you apart, I wouldn't be able to find any markers for any manufacturers, any IDs of any designer? You want to take me apart? David was a programmer, not an engineer. How could he build a custom android from scratch in the comfort of his own home? Nice to see a question like that actually asked. Like, way too many stories with a sci-fi element treat like scientific expertise in one area as applying to a whole bunch of other areas. Like, so many other stories would be like, well, he knows how to do the programming, so he must know how to put it together. Like, that's not the same knowledge base. That's not the same skill set. Nice to see that addressed. Massage therapy androids wouldn't just come with the knowledge of how to do it programmed in. They have to go to school like everyone else. Apparently 255. I mean, also keep in mind that those would be the warm androids, which it's still unclear how much they are treated in universe like people, but they are absolutely designed to function and pass as much as possible like people. So I suspect it's probably tied to that. I mean, you could probably make an argument that either the makers of massage therapy androids actually want them to be certified in that way, so that it embeds the idea that their products are people even more into the general consciousness, and it also spares like regulator and licensors from having to come up with new rules. I think it was probably mutually beneficial in that way. He couldn't have. He must have had help, probably a whole department's worth. If I ask around, there's got to be someone in the company who can ID this thing and help me figure out what's so important about it. They don't even call them by pronouns, so I'd assume they treat them like objects. I mean, yeah, so I'm kind of extrapolating from the way that a lot of tech bros are pushing AI these days. They want it, regardless of how they treat it and how much they personally humanize it. They want the general public to humanize it because it, anthropomorphizing instills a sense of empathy with a thing, even if it's not a person or even sentient. You don't look like any android I've ever seen. What are you made of? This body is completely comprised of organic tissue integrated directly into cybernetic systems. They require organic nourishment, including water, carbohydrates, and salt. Wait, warm androids have to eat and drink? They cannot be worth that much trouble. My cybernetic systems operate largely as analogs to their equivalents in the human body. Okay, this is not a standard warm android model at all. It can't be. You wouldn't actually design a commercial product this way. I have a respiratory system for oxygen exchange and a centrally located bump that circulates oxygen. You mean you've got a heart? How quaint. But where does all the extra weight come from? Pardon? I tried moving you earlier, felt like I was pulling against a truck. My skeleton is a combination of medical-grade plastics and military-grade titanium carbide alloy. Okay, that'd do it. That sure took the wind out of her sails. Yeah, it did, didn't it? She doesn't like the inorganic parts of herself. So this isn't like just a custom warm android. David was trying to make something completely different, and I don't think for commercial purposes. Like, the commercial viability of something like this versus the androids this company already makes is basically nil. The amount of trouble you have to go through to make this cannot possibly be worth it. Oh, David, what were you doing? My muscles are made of adaptive rare earth alloy nanoweave fiber with shock absorption and kinetic chain potential rated past... Wait, did you say military grade? I have a grip strength above 1,000 kilograms. I can run at sustained speeds over 60 kilometers per hour. Jesus! I can jump 6 meters vertically. I can lift approximately... I'm not sure what kind of grip strength most androids are walking around with, but I've never seen any of them move the way it's talking about. I mean, just standing there, it seems to be poised. Controlled. Spring tight. Strength and flexibility like a ballerina or a gymnast. Strong enough to flip over a tank. Lifelike enough to avoid detection. As long as it never stepped on a scale, it'd make for a perfect infiltration unit. The perfect weapon if you could keep its development a secret. I mean, possible? It's not my first instinct. Did David really put something this heavy on my plate, dismantling a military prototype in secret? Are you deep in thought? But a military infiltration android would look more crew-cut and forgettable. Would David really devote personal time and effort just to make another weapon for the military? Yeah, don't think so. I have other features I could tell you about if you like. If I shot you, would you die? It would be very painful, and there would be a discharge of fluid, but conventional weapons would not prove particularly effective. That settles it. This thing's a weapon, sure as I... Would you like to know about my hair? Your hair. I'm impressed you noticed. Each fiber contains miniaturized solar cell lattice technology, allowing me to remain charged throughout the daytime. That must come in handy. I haven't actually had the chance to use it yet. Yeah, I was gonna say, you've been in a basement. This room has ambient wireless charging functionality, and I haven't gone outside too much. Okay, maybe it's not a weapon after all. You're just a pincushion, aren't you? I'm not familiar with that term. Searching. Pincushion, jargon, design. Refers to prototypes filled with experimental technologies to check for compatibility issues. Got an idea, not sure what to do with it, stick it in the pincushion. Says good an explanation for what I'm staring at. Mishmash of state-of-the-art military features spliced with odd new technologies and seemingly pointless additions. The end result being a singular, unsellable android that wasn't particularly good at anything and would break down after only a few years. Pincushions are small but valid part of the field of android manufacturing. They are valuable to collectors who see them as time capsule filled with their designers' most outlandish ideas and least reproducible results. But even the most nonsensical pincushions are built via committee over years, numerous engineers, programmers adding in their pet functions. The android before me claims to have been built by one man. A man who's now... Seems we got off track there, Sarah. Was there anything else David told you to relay to me? Besides that you were looking after me? He also told me that you were reliable and I should trust you. He said I was to listen to you and obey your instructions. Finally, some good news. As you say, Adonye. What's that? That word you called me, what was that? Adonai, or Adonai, from Classic Hebrew. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that. Apologies. Translated literally, it means my lord. Nope. 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 Do you prefer I call you master? Fuck no. Thank you, Morgan. Thank you for not going with that. Jesus. Ugh. Yeah, good catch, Trista. She did say painful, which means she's programmed to feel pain, which I can't remember if it's been mentioned whether or not that's standard for the warm androids or not. On Fractus the other day, you said you don't like how a lot of shows take it for granted that defense lawyers defend guilty people. Personally, I'm okay with that because I think it's usually the case in reality. Like most people who end up in court are guilty, they still need a defense in a remotely just system. We have no way to know ever what percentage of people who end up in court are guilty. We literally cannot know that. That is impossible. That's a massive presumption on your case. All we can know is what percentage of people who end up in court are found guilty from a legal perspective. Now, I don't personally know what those stats are, but if you know anything about, I can't speak for the UK, but in the US, about the techniques that the police are allowed to do, and this isn't even getting into stuff that police are known to do, but they're not supposed to, just by what police are allowed to do, and especially in an interrogation room, how much they are allowed to lie to people in order to get them to confess to to something, I do not feel that is a proper assumption to make at all. Now, you are correct that whether somebody is guilty or not doesn't have anything to do with whether or not they are entitled to a defense. They absolutely are, because the job of the defense is to make sure that the prosecution actually proves their case and doesn't just point at somebody and say, jail them and win. So you are correct that regardless of actual guilt, a defense is necessary. But I'm not comfortable with that assumption. And I'm not even saying that you're definitively wrong. I'm just saying you literally can't know that. So I would not assume that. Finished reading Dreams of Fire last month. Thought it was good. Oh, thank you, Starbush. Glad you liked it. I'll get around to working on the next one at some point eventually. Oh, god damn it. Sorry, so much stuff on my plate. Very good, Adonai. Why David use Hebrew, though? Abrahamic myth tells of servants constructed out of earth and clay, designed to resemble and obey their masters. All right, I gotta look up how to pronounce that word, because I'm gonna have to keep saying it, I think. Hang on.
Adonai.
Adonai. Okay. Double check this.
Ways of saying it. Either Adonai. There's an emphasis on the...
All right. Adonai. All right. Because if it's going to keep coming up, I need to learn how to say it properly. I mean, 255, there are models based off of, again, what has been proven to be false convictions, but that is, again, based off what can be confirmed. Whether or not that is the real number of false convictions is hard to know. Like, we can extrapolate based off the data we have, but that doesn't mean that that is the entire story or that we have all the data we need to do that. I feel yeah. I'm like, I'll get around to writing my book eventually. I mean, like, I had both more time and more immediate, like, push myself to get that first book out because, like, I wanted something. I wanted something, you know, fictional from my mind out into the world to know it was there. While I definitely do want to write another one, it's slightly less pressing because it's not like, if I don't get this out, no one will have a sense of what my creativity can produce in terms of narrative. But now people can find that out and see whether or not they like it. Golems. Yeah. Father must have found the comparison appropriate. Amusing. More likely, it's just a joke. Father would not make light of such a thing. Sure he would. Perhaps we should ask him to clarify his reasoning for himself. Oh, shit. She doesn't know he's dead. Ah, fuck. Where is Father, by the way? Is he upstairs? When was the last time you were active? 38 hours ago. Thursday night, then. Correct. Right. David Asher is dead. He died last night. Understand? Oh, God. We got a frickin'... I'm not trying to actively diagnose Morgan, but for narrative purposes, she's being largely presented as sort of the pop culture version of a sociopath. And we've got someone like that trying to explain to whatever the heck Sarah is that the person who created her and the only other person she appears to have seen and interacted with directly is dead. Oh, this is gonna go well. How may I see him? Ah, shit. Oh, damn it. See him? No, I won't be able to see him. Funeral's probably not for a few days. Father he was not sick. I don't feel like doing the whole song and dance with 2 robots in one day. That's very charming, but let's go to commands only. What? What happened? Did he have an accident? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. She doesn't have the, like, the forced, minimized interaction setting. Oh, shit. This is going to be like dealing with a person. I think it is 2:55. I like, my thumbnail guy asked me if I was going to do a video on that, and like I might make a short because unless I do like the Kermit the Frog, yay, for 10 minutes, I don't know what I'd fill a full video with. Like I'm not the Lost Episodes guy. We have Josh Snares for that, and they're better at it than I would be. Why is it still doing the theatrics? Does it not recognize my authority yet? No, she doesn't have it as a mode, Morgan. The police have determined that he committed suicide. For the time being, we ought to focus on getting you properly registered. Maybe then you'll take commands for the first time I say them and not... The police are wrong. Excuse me? They are wrong. Father did not commit suicide. He would never do such a thing. Father had told me. Look, Sarah, I'm sorry. You're sorry. Father said you were his friend. How are you so calm? I've been around death a lot. Yeah, you have. Yeah, you have. So don't try and lecture me about grief, Spearmint. My name is Sarah. You will use it because my father, Dr. David Asher, the greatest programmer in the world, gave it to me, and he did not kill himself. Let's say you're right. David didn't commit suicide. If that's the case, the police will realize that soon enough. The police have already made their determination. That's what you said. Father said that you were a lawyer, that you were capable and reliable, and a friend. You should be looking into his death. That's... Is that an order? Of course not. It is a request, Adonai. A request that I'll have to refuse. The police have their job, I have mine. And if I stick my nose into their investigation any further, they'll come down on me hard. Cops don't like lawyers on principle. But what they really hate are people who tell them how to do their job. Let's go. We need to... Father asked you to look after me. Yeah, he did. He also said you should obey me, and you don't seem quite as fixated on that part. And he said something else. He said that you owed him a favor. Oh, shit. One favor. The thin ice starts here, Spearman. That was between him and me. Father is gone, so now it's between you and I. And I am calling in the favor now. What? You don't have to take care of me anymore. Consider that request null and void. You can sell me to some collector, or you can donate me to a university. It doesn't matter. In exchange, you will prove Father didn't kill himself. And you will make sure that whoever hurt him is held accountable. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting, because I was kind of wondering how... Because given the way Morgan operates, part of me, like in the back of my head, was wondering, like, how is Morgan gonna care enough about what happened to David to look into it further? Like, my default assumption was that it would be morbid curiosity, but Morgan is so pragmatic that if she thought poking around would get people to notice her, she just wouldn't do it, even if she was curious. And the amount of emotional investment seems to be minimal with basically everything. So this makes sense as a way to force her hand. Yeah, that's well thought out. I like that. I wasn't going to say that, but I did briefly wonder if you were going to cover that and think, well, what would she say? It's not really her thing. Yeah, it's not really my thing. Again, I might make a short. I don't know. There's I've got a lot going on. Why are you laughing? It's you and me, not you and I. You and me. David would roll over in his grave if he knew you'd gotten that wrong. It was not my intention to amuse or rotate. No, that's for damn sure. Fine. I'll take that deal, Sarah. You mean you will prove that father did not... I mean, I'll look into it. I'm a lawyer. I don't prove anything. I just disprove what I can. Then where do we start? I didn't realize you had a law degree. I do not have a law degree, but I am a fast learner. This isn't a job interview. And I am far from useless. The ad did raise at least one good question. Where do I start? I'm a defense attorney, not a police detective, and David was my friend, not my client. I won't be able to poke around at all unless... And I'm also capable of... Can you tell a lie? I am capable of making statements that are false. Guess that'll have to do. Are you going to ask me to lie? Yes. To the police, in fact. Lying to the police is a felony. Androids don't commit felonies. They make errors. Ooh! AI doesn't lie. It hallucinates. Ooh. Oh, that's good. That's good. I see. What kind of error do you have in mind, Adonai? All right. Are you sure about this? You have questions too, don't you? Right now, I'm just a little better equipped to get answers than you are. Oh, Jess. Okay, go for it. I'll make sure they're watching. Is the air quality at Noble headquarters kept up to state standards? What's that? All these Noble employees seem to have asthma. Was father also working under such poor conditions? They don't have asthma. Then why are they carrying inhalers? Oh, I was wondering about that. As, like, she was huffing it so often, I was starting to wonder, is that like a calming drug? I was beginning to wonder that. Cops don't like lawyers. That's not what I've heard from lawyers. Depends on the type of lawyer. I think saying that cops don't like defense lawyers is probably not too inaccurate. Again, at least in the U.S. I don't know what it's like in the U.K. Adroxone inhalers. First legalized in 2083. The stimulant sold under the name androzone or androxone has since become one of the most widely used drugs in the corporate world. It's a Class II stimulant of least concern. Employees of any corporation in good standing with the Bureau of Narcotics Oversight can have access to adroxone without a prescription so long as their HR representative feels it would be beneficial to their work performance. Workplace adroxone, as it is sometimes called, is dispensed through biomonitoring enhanced inhalers that automatically detect overdoses and keep track of possible habit formation. Automatic safety levels may be adjusted at supervisor's discretion. Unsubstantiated claims that adroxone was first invented as a purely recreational drug by the notoriously violent Skullhead Mafia caused enough of a stir in 2083. A formal investigation committee was formed. Unfortunately, in 2084, an industrial hydrogen fuel accident resulted in the deaths of all 391 known Skullhead members, placing the investigation on an indefinite standstill. I had wondered about that inhaler. Yes, ma'am. She's right over here. So if I were to guess, Gemma... Oh, shit. If I were to guess that Jess is using it, like, to try and focus up. Oh, it's you. Ah, fuck. God damn it, Reyes. Oh, it's you. Did I mess up? On the contrary. Eyes wide. She's a D8. Who's Meg? What? Quiet. She succeeded spectacularly in getting Noble's ears perked up. Emma Rockford. Yep. Assistant DA. I remember you. I still kind of want more information on, like, I'll keep saying he because that's the pronoun everyone else is using, but, like, it's interesting. I'll give it that. Emma Rockford. Didn't think I'd run into you here. Yeah, didn't think I'd be here either. But the powers that be think my presence sends a strong message to the Meg. Oh, right. The Megs, the Megacorp folks. That's right. So Meg wasn't a name, it was a designation. Right, I forgot about that. No, wait, what are you doing here? A few minutes later. I see. Sorry for your loss. Thank you for saying that. And thank you, Detective Reyes, for your many kind words. Yeah, Reyes. Pain in my ass. Yeah, third class sounds about right. We can't all be as talkative as you. Normally, quoting poetry would feel pretentious, but you were so genuine in your reading. Bite me. I don't know that there's a need for all that. Very mature, Detective. Did you come up with that yourself? Oh, no, that's Kaguya's signature pose. Like the pop star? I don't know what you're talking about. You could admit it if you do. Well, there's nothing to admit because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who that is. Wait, now you're saying you don't know who Kaguya is? She's the most famous... Yeah, well, I just don't know who that is. So, ma'am? Huh? Weren't you about to say something? Oh, well, I'm still surprised to see you here now, Morgan. Are you helping plan the services? Actually, the company will be planning Dr. Asher's funeral services. Wouldn't his family want to take care of that? No. No? No. I see. Sorry. But if that's the case, why are you here, Morgan? Damn, she's persistent. Most people would back the hell off after this person who died was my friend out of social decorum, but not Emma. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry to disrupt your morning. Hey, you're here for the same reason as every other suit they've got crawling around. Money. Oh, bite me, Reyes. You're not wrong. There are lots of annoying insects with annoying agendas scurrying around before my friend's body is even cold. But the honest truth is I don't even know if David had a will. The company helped him manage his estate. Legal is probably already on it. Actually, judging by how much coffee that intern is carrying into the elevator, I'm certain they are. Right, so if you're not here for the funeral or the reading of the will... Miss Starling asked me to come here, actually, on a matter unrelated to David's passing. An unrelated matter. That's convenient, isn't it? But now that I am here, it's come to my attention that the police have made a determination in the case of David's death. And where did you hear that? Am I mistaken? No, you're right. They concluded it was a suicide. You can always count on her to be blunt. I was worried about that. Yeah, I'm sure you must be feeling, because I'm gonna have to contest that charge. What? The state has made a charge. I'm arguing against it. The hell are you talking about? The police believe David committed suicide. Suicide is a felony in this country, detective. It is technically a crime to commit suicide, yes, but we're not in the habit of bringing dead men to trial, especially not for their own murder, Morgan. No, not to trial, of course not, but there would be a preliminary hearing in a case like this. Kaguya's stage name is singer-songwriter known for her powerful voice, stage persona, and intricately crafted lore. After releasing a blitz of chart-chopping singles, a quadruple platinum album, and a bevy of cultural reset music videos in just the last 3 years, she has come to be considered the leading living figure in the pop music and popular culture realm. Kaguya's official age is listed as 1,086 years old. She released her first single, Orbit, in 2083, which went on to peak at number 1. Personal details on the pop star remain scarce, and protecting her anonymity has become a core part of her fan culture. When a retired facial analyst expert claimed that her stage makeup was formulated specifically to make facial recognition on her impossible, a representative from her record met with the press to clarify that she is simply a private person who wants her fans to enjoy the experience that is Kaguya's voice. Interesting. Don't know if that'll come up again, but interesting. Preliminary hearing, step in the criminal court between... Okay. Technically, as a formality, assuming the courts aren't busy today, I'm afraid that on this occasion I'm going to have to insist on formality. Well, yeah, you really don't have much to say in the matter, do you? With David gone, I have the only say, really. I am, after all, his criminal attorney. All that money and he needs his drinking buddy to be his attorney? Bullshit. I'm also skeptical, Morgan. It's a pretty serious conflict of interest to be your friend's defense attorney. You're absolutely right. It is a conflict of interest, and I would have said as much to him if I'd had the chance. What do you mean? I only found out that he wanted me to be his attorney today. After he died. How the hell did you miss that memo? Embarrassing, isn't it? But to be fair, it was hidden pretty well. Oh, I didn't know you had an Android, Morgan. It's cute. Thanks, but it's actually David's, and it's technically my witness. Witness to what? 38 hours ago, that is, David Asher communicated to me, and as a matter of record, the following explicit legal intent: that in the case of any and all criminal charges brought against him by the state, his attorney would be Evangeline Morgan. That's Morgan's first name. I can't remember if I knew that or not. Well, probably. Probably got brought up. Evangeline? Wait, seriously? Your name's Evangeline? Do your parents name you after a Christmas carol? Should we all be curtsying? It's not that funny. No, of course not. Nothing to be embarrassed about, Evangeline. Or do your friends call you Angel? I hear Kaguya's on tour, detective. Should I get you tickets? You could have your dad drive you like all the other 15-year-olds. Hey! Feels like we're getting off topic. What were we just... I was telling you that David Asher wanted her to be his criminal defense attorney. Imagine my surprise. An android's recording a verbal expression of intent isn't exactly ironclad, Morgan. That's fair, and if we're going before an upper-level court, I would expect that to be open to all kinds of scrutiny, but if we're talking about a preliminary hearing, a formality, as you called it, if he asks for representation, he deserves representation. Doesn't matter whether he's dead or alive. Am I missing something? What difference does it make? Not even an adjutant would be obtuse enough to sentence a dead man. No, there won't be a sentence, but the adjutant will render a verdict, and verdicts have consequences even for the deceased. Is that what this is about? What's she getting at? If the court agrees it was a suicide, the verdict will retroactively affect evaluations of the individual's mental health, like whether he was in his right mind or not. You know anything about estate tax law, detective? No, but I'm sure you'll be happy to educate me. More than happy. An individual found by a court to not be of sound mind can't very well give their consent to the lawyer drawing up their will. If his will is compromised, all of David's considerable assets would suddenly be thrown into legal limbo, in which case the state would be legally obligated to come in and pick up the pieces. So this is just about his money. I am almost disappointed in you, Morgan. Well, when you take into consideration all the factors, it's actually more complicated than that. For example, Never mind. No, Starling, you should speak your mind. All I mean to say is that while Dr. Asher did have significant holdings in art, real estate, and intellectual property, he also, of course, owned a great deal of stock in numerous corporations, principally Noble. If he was ruled to not be of sound mind and his shares were to end up acquired by the government, Noble would suffer a serious blow in its commercial image and its standing in the financial community. All of which is to say there's a great deal at stake here, not the least of which is the reputation of a man who I was proud to call my friend. You're not buying this, are you? In case you haven't noticed, this city is working closely with Noble on this, and they're not going to let you bring them any unwanted attention. Starling did her part. They're watching. They've stopped trying to hide it. From here on out, it's a gamble. Noble Electronics already has unwanted attention. Why are you raising your voice? If nothing changes by the end of the day, the whole country's going to hear how David Asher committed suicide. By midnight, there will be questions about his competency, concerns about why the brain inside every single Noble ad was built by an apparently unstable man, and shareholders will have nothing to do all Sunday but brood over that sad thought and all its disturbing implications. By the time the markets reopen on Monday, I would expect a great deal of volatility. That's so. I understand Noble's apprehension, of course, Emma. I just feel like right now the fiscally conservative thing to do would be to not get in my way. So you've got your reasons, and Noble's got a lot to think about, but why should the district attorney's office devote valuable time to playing out this game of yours? Because they're certain they'll win. Well, that goes without saying. The court should have an opening at 6 p.m. I didn't have anything planned. Then it's a date. Detective, would you get her clearance set up? Yes, ma'am. Updates every hour, yeah? You're out on a limb, Morgan. Better not linger. Here, clearance for all the relevant sites and police firewalls. You can interview and investigate with your authority as an officer of the court now. If you haven't already been doing that. Don't even think about being sloppy with discovery on this. Rockford might think you're funny, but I appreciate the warning, Detective Reyes. It's nice to know you care. I live to serve and protect. Whew. Thanks for the assist, darling. Yeah, no sweat. Are all cops like that, or are they more like the Detective London gentleman? She does seem like she comes in exceptionally hot, it feels like. Most cops I've met are like London, yeah. Courteous, polite, friendly. Lazy. Oh. Right. Well, I'll see you at the courthouse tonight. If you need anything in the meantime, don't be afraid to ask. Good luck, both of you. What do we do now? Well, I have a few options. I have access to the crime scene now, probably the best place to start. I'd like to head over to the company building as well to get me registered, among other things. Either David killed himself or he didn't. But if he did, it's almost certain his asshole corporation overlords who are to blame. In which case, I'll want to take my sweet time raking them over the coals. What are you doing? Nothing. What about Father? When can we see him? He'll be at the morgue by now. The medical examiner will speak to me now that I'm operating under the court's authority, but if I stop to flash paperwork at every nurse and security guard with nothing better to do than ask questions, I'm gonna have to... What's that look for? You were Father's friend. Thank you again for reminding me. Aren't there people you'd like to speak with? Other friends who'd want to know? Bad news travels fast. I'm sure everyone in the country has heard about David by this point. But all that heartbreak shit did keep me pretty occupied these last few weeks, and I was never one to pry. If there was someone who could tell me more about David's personal life over the last several months, it'd be worth the effort of finding them. Do you have someone in mind? Maybe someone he met recently? He spoke about becoming close with someone this year, a musician. Now that you mention it, there was a something David might have mentioned when we talked back in. I will begin a search. I've completed my search. I found nothing. Thanks for the old college try. Is that really the best you can do? Father was a private man, in person and online. With just a few letters and the fact that he was a musician, I'm afraid we don't have enough information to narrow down the results, Adonai. No, we have plenty of information. We just need the right person for the job. What kind of person is that? All right. Time, date, expunged. Interesting. Precinct 112. Detainment room 001. And who would you even have called? Who the hell is you? Oh, if it's expunged, it's an expunged record. So this is like a previous client. Got it. Let me save real quick. I don't know, but I still should have gotten my phone call. Instead, I got you. Who are you again? My latest guardian, new foster parent. Want me to call you mommy? I'm not really the motherly type. Heyo, we might actually get along. So I've got good news and bad news. I'm not your guardian, I'm your lawyer. You've been given a lawyer because you're being charged with a felony. Fascist pig, skipping school's a felony now. Hacking into a government database has been a felony for a very long time. That wasn't me. They have your keystrokes, your IP address, your login times, and the playlist you were listening to. That was for a homework assignment. Here's what I don't get. You got in, copied the data, could have gotten right out. State wouldn't even know they'd been robbed until they saw your password show up on black market clearance 2 weeks later. But you didn't get out. You stayed and made changes to their database. You robbed the bank, got clean money, then dragged a can of spray paint behind you all the way home. Why? Look, I didn't steal anything. That wasn't already compromised. The only data I edited was my own, and if anything, they should be thanking me for correcting their mistakes. What, did they get your birthday wrong? My name. Oh. Name changes are only 2 pages of paperwork. You just need to fill out the form and get a signature from a parent or guardian. Oh! So, what's the good news then? Good news is that I'm your lawyer, not your guardian. The hell? That doesn't count as good news. That's just a thing you said. Don't be so sure. Lawyer's a lot better than a guardian. How's that? Parents, guardians, foster whatevers, they're all supposed to take care of you because it's the right thing to do. A lawyer is someone who always does what's best for you no matter what because that's how they get paid. So how good are you at your job? Hello, mon coeur. It's pronounced cure. I know how it's pronounced, and don't call me that. All right, what did we just add? Cur. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, oddly enough, I pronounced it correctly, instinctively. Anyways. When I met Fran at the police station, I couldn't help but bet I'd landed the jackpot. Valuable asset with a skill set complementary to my own personal and private pursuits. Someone who, after seeing the sweetheart probation deal I landed for them, would be more than happy to help me with whatever I need, whenever I need it. Alright, Fran. Let's pull you up. Hacker, but don't put that down, obviously. Scratched out. Haptic synth music doesn't teach us politics. None. Okay. It is interesting that pronouns aren't listed. Francois. How erudite. No such thing. Nothing good's ever happened until the afternoon when people are actually awake. What I got instead was a compulsive liar with a horrific sleep schedule and a crippling addiction to poor time management. What do you want, Red? I can't call you up just for fun. Not if you don't want to get blocked. I need you to find somebody for me. Can't do it. I've got homework. We both know the only time you ever do homework is during the class it's due. And I've got sports. You can't tell a basketball from a hockey stick. And I've got a bidding war to win. You're the only person on Earth bidding on 70-year-old Gucci and Air Jordan vintage reps, Fran. I think you can take your eyes off the auction block. So sorry, but I'm busy. So I was hoping we could skip straight to the carrot portion of the routine, but if you insist on doing things from the top, I had an interesting conversation with your parole officer yesterday. Oh, yeah? They've been really into the self prefixes lately. What? Self-motivation, self-actualization, self-help. Oh. And he thinks you could really benefit from it. You're lying. He's got all the workbooks ready. Clearly your Saturdays are stacked, so I'll make sure your Sundays are full of... Fine. I get it. I need you to find a local musician. Musician? Knowing you, this will be Electro Swing or some other awful... Last name Powell or Parker. That's all you got? They'll be in David Asher's circles. Wait, Asher? You're working that? That should be more than enough for a clever kid like you to go on. Don't go expecting any miracles. I need this soon. Within the hour, ideally. Within the... You know I have other clients, don't you? Other clients who actually pay you? On time? A musician. Find him. Okay. Interesting. And again, given the personality we have on Morgan, it tracks that she would cultivate these kind of transactional relationships just as something helpful for her to have in her back pocket. Even talking over the phone, you're very animated, Adonai. What do you mean? Just that you're very expressive when you talk to people. Of course I'm expressive. If I wasn't, how would anyone know what I'm thinking? Oh, shit. Is that her form of masking? Like overdoing facial expressions to make the intent she wants them to believe she has clear? Oh. I see. I'll keep that in mind as we... Wait, you really expect to tag along? Of course. Father was... Yeah, I know you want to. But why should I let you? Because I am capable and helpful. Uh-huh. I mean it. I can take notes for you and move heavy objects. And I'll learn to do more. How? I will subject every individual we encounter to a basic survey to procure biographical information on them while I gain experience in questioning. Subjecting them to torture. I can help, Adonai. How fast can you fill out forms? Fast? Congratulations. You're halfway to being a paralegal. All right, so we just did an update on Sarah. Unemployed / through paralegal question mark? Likes collarbones. Interesting. I'm not sure how skills differ from talents. That sounds like a D&D thing. Wait a minute, I have skills and talents and abilities? Why are these separate things? Congratulations. Yep, I did that. You coming? Right away, Adonai. Alrighty. Let's get to work. Noble Employee Housing Building. Placia. Penthouse dining room. Alright. Pretty quiet elevators, huh? You could have taken the next one. It's a busy building, detective. Can't hold up everyone else on our account. Anything you'd like to grumble at me before I start? Don't touch anything. I don't care that you're wearing gloves. I have been to crime scenes before, you know. Long before the police get there in many cases. Look, Rockford asked me to not get in your way, but that doesn't mean I'm going to bend over for you. Do you at least have the autopsy report? No. Are you? Seriously, I don't. She doesn't? The report should have come in hours ago. Wouldn't take that long unless the cause of death was still... Then I'd settle for a summary of the preliminary findings. An emergency call was made shortly after 8 p.m. last night via the home security system. Emergency medical services had a VTOL in the air. Within a minute, they landed at the penthouse's helipad at 8:08. Dr. Asher was found unconscious with low blood pressure and a weak heartbeat. He wasn't breathing. In-flight auto triage administers artificial CPR while in transit to Gates Field Memorial. He was declared dead a few minutes after being taken to the emergency wing. I see. And the cause of death is being investigated. How do you determine it was suicide if you don't have a fucking cause of death? What are you trying to pull? Make an educated guess. He stopped breathing, so they gave him oxygen. His heart stopped pumping, so they had the machines take over. His brain activity dropped to 0, and there wasn't anything else they could do. It was poison, wasn't it? What kind? You don't know, do you? Ah, they don't know either. Like I said, ma'am, we don't have the autopsy report yet. Why are you certain it was poison, Adonai? Couldn't it have been accidental overdose? If he had overdosed on a commercial drug, even a pre-med student would have spotted it on the hospital's intake screening. They would have been able to pump his stomach, neutralize his bloodstream, and he would have lived. But he didn't live. So it must have been something deadly, a compound designed solely to kill. Fast-acting, deadly poison that causes respiratory failure. The list can't be that long. Even just through process of elimination, the medical examiner should have identified it by now, unless... You suspect a designer drug, don't you, detective? Why is it you're only quick on the uptake when it suits you? Nothing else makes sense given what we know and what we don't. But the CDCA decriminalized and cataloged all recreational drugs. CDCA, Contraband Decriminalization Acts. Series of laws passed in the 2060s that decriminalized all narcotics use and established the Bureau of Narcotic Oversight to administer the production, licensing, and distribution of taxation of drugs across the country. Overwhelmed by civil unrest and eager to replenish government coffers, the CDCA was intended to reduce the backlog of criminal cases across the country and provide much-needed tax income, while also incentivizing immigration with the promise of amnesty. In what was considered a domino effect, other major nations across the globe passed comparable laws to build their own depleted war chest and revitalize their local economies. The so-called white wave of global amnesty overturned the international drug trafficking market in just a few short years. The gray wave followed soon after as money-starved criminal organizations waged economic and literal war against multinational corporations for dominance of this new gray market. Fierce competition for government licenses to produce classic narcotics emerged alongside a race to develop new, more powerful designer drugs and to monopolize on their sale in the months it would take the government to identify and legalize them. Oh, shit. That's interesting. A narcotics arms race between criminal syndicates and the fucking government. That's really interesting. Damn. Okay. They got some good world-building lore in this game. While rates of addiction and overdose death have dropped since their peak in the last 2 decades, the dangers associated with untested designer drugs and drug distributors' eagerness to earn new customers has continued to fuel debate over the legacy of the CDCA and the white wave as a whole. Yesterday, I got into an argument about incels. I was saying I don't think it's good to say incels are just mad because women having a right means women don't have to date them, because I think that framing concedes that their belief that feminism makes men more lonely. I said it's like conceding that white supremacists that racial equality makes white people poorer. See that this is a topic I do not want to get on the weeds on. So I'm gonna say one thing and we're gonna move off it. I'm not sure I agree with the position you're taking, because the way that you worded it, that we shouldn't be saying incels are just mad because women having rights means women don't have to date them, like, that's their reasoning. Whether or not it's true, that is, I think, an accurate description of what a lot of them believe, or at least argue from the position of believing. So, like, the fact that the statement started with "are mad because" means that everything that comes after that is their justification for their anger. That may or may not be true. So because of that preface, the statement of having rights means women don't have to date them doesn't have to be accurate either way, because it just has to do with their perspective and their framing. You follow me? Hope so, because I don't want to talk about it anymore. But the CDCA, yeah. Guess you weren't entirely clueless about politics. So whatever father overdosed on should have been in the hospital's database. You need to update your definitions. You're confusing designer drugs with recreational drugs. In the literal sense, designer merely denotes any drug that's custom made as opposed to mass produced. Common parlance, designer drugs, deeds. Are illegal narcotics formulated to produce a recreational high. Well, the CDCA and the white wave that followed legalized did also. Looks like these laws can only apply to drugs that already existed. Any drug patented after the white wave must go through approval process. Time consuming, 6 months, several years. This timeline creates a window of opportunity wherein organized criminal groups can step in and meet the demand for a narcotic. That is known as riding the wave, is the new normal for the international drug trade, pitting mob chemists against corporate laboratories in a race to develop newer, more powerful, more easily habit-forming drugs and cornering the market on them before legislation catches up to them. Again, really fascinating. Yes, I would agree with that context. Again, that's why I use the phrase, that is what they argue from the position of believing, because in a lot of cases with, these pockets of far right thought, which incels absolutely fall into, don't argue with me on that. You can't take it at face value that they believe that they truly believe the justifications they give, but they give those justifications because they believe it helps them to argue from the position of believing that thing. Whether or not they actually do is both unknowable and kind of irrelevant. You need to update. Yeah, I read that. What's the difference? Recreational drugs are decriminalized and sold through pharmacies after years of testing and mountains of paperwork, while the average designer drug was invented last week in a 19-year-old line cook's bathroom on the other side of the globe. Hospitals can't know the proper countermeasures for an overdose of a drug that didn't exist 48 hours ago. Came across makeshift labs all the time when I was a uniform. Equipment's cheap and widely available. Black market cooks, gray market peddlers, white-collar lobbyists all chasing each other's tail in a long line to find the next big hit. CDCA didn't change shit. More people die from ODs than ever before. Only difference is their families finding them in living rooms and not beat cops finding them on street corners. Real comforting, I'm sure. If it wasn't you talking, I'd say that was a criticism of law enforcement. Not law enforcement, just a law. Assuming it was a designer drug, that would certainly make things more complicated. For the insurance guys, maybe. For us, whatever he used to do it, he still killed himself. Yeah, but if it was a designer drug, did he know that that would be what it did? Like, for it to be suicide, there had to be intent. Otherwise, it's an accident. Or didn't kill himself, if you insist. I'm gonna take a look around now. Yeah, sure. Make yourself at home. What's that face for? I thought that there would be an outline. An outline? Around where they found Father. Like in the movies? Like in film. Connect to the police's network and bring up their ARCS file. Augmented reality crime scene. I see. Here we go. There it is. There is an outline. And so this is where he died at the hospital. This is just where the medics found him. And it's the sensors and cameras they were wearing that created the basis for this ARCS. I didn't realize they were walking into a crime scene, but their body cams gathered data all the same. Where do we start? You can start by following behind me and trying to be as quiet as possible. Try and get a feel for when she's pouting even without looking. Says here when the medics arrived, he was on the floor face up. Does that tell you something? Hey, if you were going to drink a glass of poison, would you be sitting or standing when you did it? I find it very difficult to speculate on that hypothetical scenario. The seat by his body's pulled out. If he was seated when he lost consciousness, I would expect to find him slumped over the table. But he wasn't found slumped over. No, he wasn't. And if he'd been standing when he lost consciousness, I would think he would have fallen forward or at least collapsed less neatly. So what can you conclude from that, Adonai? Only that I'm missing something. Better take a closer look. Spilled alcohol. The ARCS show how it looked last night before it evaporated. No foreign substances in the puddle. It's clean, so does that mean whatever the spill came from must be clean as well? Rose River Whiskey, 12 years old. You recognize it? Sure. He was more than partial to the brand. It's a good brand. Only a bit overpriced, which is a bargain of a lifetime in David's world. It appears the police have already tested its contents. No foreign matter present was their conclusion. Is it possible the police missed the poison? No. Even if they can't identify the poison, they can detect its presence by comparing samples of the whiskey to a bottle of the store shelf. So we can eliminate the possibility of that the bottle of whiskey was poisoned. Evidence. Whiskey spill. There's little left to test. No foreign compound has been found, but the results are deemed inconclusive. Okay. So what was in the glass might have had it in it, and we can't know, but it wasn't in the bottle. All right. So if there was poison present and it was something that he drank, then it was in the glass, not the bottle. We have to find our smoking gun elsewhere. 2 cups, one empty, one knocked over, and one mostly empty. These look cheap. Did his guest bring them? I've seen them before in the basement liquor cabinet. He kept these lying around? I knew he regifted those crystal glasses I got him. ARC says there's nothing foreign in the upright one, so it can't have been poisoned. Results are inconclusive on the other cup, however. Looks bone dry. Must have been nothing but fumes left by the time it was considered a crime scene. Just not enough for them to test. Inconclusive could mean inconclusive means inconclusive. That's all. Cheer up. Read me the results of the fingerprinting. Father's prints are on both cups, as expected, but there are someone else's on the upright cup, so someone else must have been here with him last night. Slow down. All that proves is someone else touched the cup. Doesn't tell us when they did it. And since we don't know who the prints belong to, Adonai, why don't we know who the prints belong to? Are the prints flagged as unidentified, or no, there's space for a name, but the field is black? Shit. Am I already that late to the action? Detective Reyes, yeah? There's a second set of prints on the cup. Is there a form you'd like me to sign? Doesn't matter how nicely you ask, sometimes people just can't answer. You should know that damn well, Madam Counselor. I was afraid you'd say that. I don't understand, Adonai. What does this mean? It means that whomever those prints belong to has very proactive representation. Those prints belong to a witness. As you've guessed, you're more than welcome to their testimony, but their identity is the department of being considerate of witnesses' privacy out of respect for their time and appreciation for their cooperation. Fine. Forget the name. That easily. Subpoenas are always an option, but I'm short on time. What did the witness have to say for themselves, Detective? To paraphrase, they came to see Dr. Asher last night. The two of them talked. They had a drink together. Then the doctor got sick, so they activated the emergency system on the panel by the kitchen. The EMTs came and took them both to the hospital. Asher's condition got worse. All of the witnesses' vitals were normal. Witness had their vitals taken. Should have been a record of their admission at Gatesfield. And that's it. I'm guessing you didn't just take all that on faith. Penumbra's set up in most of the rooms on this floor. Everything the witness told us was corroborated by the building's own surveillance system. So yes, we can guarantee the witness never put anything into Asher's drink. I'm guessing I can't have the keys to the penumbra, can I? Not until the witness's lawyers are done reviewing it. Lawyers, plural. I don't have time to trade jabs with the law offices of Johnson, Johnson, Johnson & Johnson. Say, how about I give you their business card? Law offices of Cochler, Gustav, Prince & Prince. I was close. No way I'll be getting any client information out of them directly. All you bloodsuckers want to get together and tear each other apart, text me before you start. I'd like to watch. Yeah, I bet you'd like to watch. What? What does that even mean? I don't know. Needed a moment to think. So what was it? One chat, one peek at the cams, you've already eliminated them as a suspect? Look. They were searched, they didn't have any poison, any drugs, not even a stick of gum. Even if they somehow did have poison on them, the camera footage confirms they had no opportunity to use it. They drank from the same bottle as a dead man. As far as the department's concerned, they were nearly a second victim. But they aren't dead, or even ill, from the sound of things. So you think he poisoned his own cup beforehand, then poured for both of them from a safe bottle? That's what the evidence is telling us. There's nothing in the bottle or the witness's cup. But after drinking from his cup, a cup he prepared himself, he fell ill and the witness didn't. And Asher died with a foreign substance in his body, an unidentified foreign substance. Suicide by poison. I get that you were close. And simple explanations aren't all that satisfying, but that's life. Again, like, it is still a big leap to call it suicide when, if it's a designer drug, he could have just been trying to get high and didn't know what it was going to do. One last thing, you said he prepared his cup himself. Did you see that on camera? He left the parlor to get the drinks, came back with his already poured. The witness says he got them from the basement. The witness says that, not the cameras. There's no cams in the lab or the basement. That seems like a security hazard. Why would Noble not set things up more carefully? It's intentional. If cams of his lab ever got hacked, outsiders could steal his IP and kick Noble's monopoly to the curb. Right, David did complain about Noble's weird protocols for combating corporate espionage. At least we can take comfort in knowing that Father wasn't alone when he died. Yeah, that's worth investigating. All right, hang on. What's this? Well, remember when I said there was some dispute about if Netflix's new dinosaur documentary used AI? Do you think if ILM, who did the CG, were using AI, they'd not admit it? Like, weren't they talking about using AI openly not long ago? Or am I thinking of Lucasfilm? Okay, so ILM has not... it's hard to know where they'd be on that right now, because the general response to especially image generation AI has turned increasingly sour over the last year or so. So yeah, I did a whole video on one of their VPs doing a whole thing about the use of AI. Now, what he showed off at the time was just test footage. That having been said, we do know that AI use has been involved in things like the de-aging stuff. So like to de-age Harrison Ford in Dial of Destiny. They have admitted to some amount of AI usage, although whether you would classify that the same as purely generative, I don't know. I don't know enough about the back end to know if that's a distinction anybody would actually make. Since I don't know enough about the specifics that go into the aging or de-aging stuff versus generating things from scratch. But they have historically owned up to use of AI tools when they've done these things. That having been said, since the general mood has soured overall, if they thought they could get away with not saying that they used it, they might. I don't know. That could go either way. Password locked, but already cracked by the police, it seems. All the docs were take-home safe, nothing spicy. When was it last used? 7:48 p.m. All right, hold on. Let me review evidence here. Witness testimony. Statement made by a singular witness. Witness arrived 7:30. Witness spoke with David. His parlor before he left to retrieve liquor from his basement. 7:36. Returned 7:38. Continued speaking while they both drank. David Asher felt lethargic, disoriented shortly after 8 p.m. Lost consciousness at 8:03. EMS were called at 8:04. The witness, they were taken to the hospital at 8:08. Okay. Saliva and fingerprints match. An unknown individual contains no traces of foreign elements. Well, it's not an unknown individual. It's a redacted individual, but I suppose I'm splitting hairs. All right. Yeah, I knew that. 7:48 p.m. Still reading work emails only a few minutes before he committed suicide? Morbid. So a lot of messages marked priority that breadcrumb their way back to an article. Warm androids, blood saves soldiers' life. Oh, this thing again. Really? Sending his brave private name withheld. Bleeding by a few warm androids being currently tested. Android didn't wait for email. Oh, but I'm universal donor. I have no doubt he'd be dead. Commanding officer. I always thought Noble was only good at making ads that look good. Story brings well-deserved shot in the arm to Noble stock prices and certainly an interesting idea. Senator Mathing, military contract. This story's got people talking. If we just ignored our constituents' feelings on that matter, we'd be neglecting our duties as politicians. Additional details about this. Okay. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about that either, 255. It is too depressing a topic. Thank you. Why would Noble have marked it as priority? Starling said they weren't in any rush to pat each other on the back over it, even though they'd won themselves a real prize. Nice fat bummed PR for Noble. One of the rad savings of soldiers' life. Because they weren't really struggling with popularity to begin with. Guess more good press never hurts. Oh, did I pick the wrong thing there? Always admired this view. The building gleamed with reflections of hologram sunlight and their shadows obscured all the rundown, rotting parts of town. Maybe the view's secondary. Maybe all anyone really wants is to put much distance between them and the street level as possible. Is it possible that the witness could have seen something through these windows? Not through these windows, no. David installed wide spectrum auto tint in all his homes, all his cars. I didn't know that. Well, you wouldn't notice unless you were viewing the penthouse from more than... Why did he care so much about his windows? One chair knocked over, probably where David was sitting. One chair pulled out, party of two. Never cared much for socializing, but he enjoyed hosting. Contradictory guy. Police androids monitoring the scene. Could almost mistake them for the real thing, the way they stand there trying to look important. Like an indoor dog taking its first trip to the park. Pardon? Why are you looking at it like you've never seen an android before? Because I haven't, in person. David didn't even let you have a mirror? Brutal. Just scan its GIN if you're that curious. Unless it's considered too forward or whatever. Chessboard and a data pad, series of characters on it. E4, C5, F3, E6. This is... Hang on. Alright, so yeah, those do look like legitimate chess moves. Algebraic notation. Was he studying an old game or playing against himself? Black has checkmate in 40 moves. Wow, robot that's good at chess. We ought to put you in a museum. But I'll take your word for it. What do you mean? Do you not play, Adonai? No, especially not against David. Well, that is to be expected. Anyone who challenged Father to a battle of wits would naturally grow tired of losing. Every game starts the same. Each player has the same pieces, same moves, same options. It's a true test of wit, strategy, and forethought. To me, it always seemed too boring, too fair. Smarter player wins every time. And that is something you take fault with. Of course. How's a gal like me supposed to win a game like that? Seems like that everything critical on this side of the room, which leaves the kitchen. You said the camera footage of the dining room showing David and his guest. What about in here? Only cameras in the kitchen is the one mounted on the call terminal. Console took a snap image when the witness ran in to contact emergency services. May I see? Not unless you scrape the witness's face off the pic first. Don't tempt me. 3 unwashed dishes and a single glass. Whereas these dishes haven't been scanned for prints yet. And I just assumed you might want to do your job. Yeah, there are prints. Most match the victim. But there's also... Hey, don't sneak up on me like that. All I did was walk over to you. You knocked over the salt, Adonai. I was focused on the task at hand. Didn't realize tunnel vision was a selling point on your mod. Adonai, the salt. As I was saying, the witness prints are on that glass in the sink. They were drinking from cups in the parlor. Did you see a glass on camera? No. So when did they touch this glass? You need to toss it over your shoulder. Witness must have thought about giving the guy some water, but he would have just choked if they'd tried. What, you think this glass was the murder weapon? It's bad luck, Adonai. Whacked him on the back of the head so fast it went between video frames. That's genius. You should go through the footage frame by frame to prove your theory. Mature. It's bad luck. What have you been going on about the salt? Shouldn't a machine be above petty superstition? It's not a superstition, it's an ancient wisdom. Give me one logical reason to care, then. If too much salt spills on your food, it'll make you gag. Maybe it's on me for setting the bar too low there. Yeah, no comment on that either, 255. I don't want to think about anything relating to Paramount right now. Glass of water found in the sink. David Asher's kitchen bears the DNA fingerprints of an unknown witness. No trace of poison. Accidentally knocked over during the investigation. Cap was loose. So the sauce spilled all over the countertop of the sink. Spilled salt syndrome in a bad luck, according to some. Why was the top loose? I feel like that's going to come back up. Messy workspaces, but a pristine kitchen. David was a good cook, but only for others. Unless he had a guess, he'd happily eat instant ramen and protein bars for all 3 meals. Or 2. Or 1. No signs of food prep to be found, not so much as a cheese board. So whatever this guest was, they must have shown up unannounced. That's where the emergency call was made. What time did the call go out? 8:04 p.m. Before you ask, the witness left the parlor at 8:03 p.m. Not enough time for them to alter the scene. I wasn't going to ask. When did the medics arrive? 8:08 p.m., remember? Hell of a response time for a penthouse. Private EMS came by air? Yeah, they landed on the VTOL pad you saw outside. Took him to Gates Field, the very best, if you can afford it. Looking around here, seems like he could afford a lot. He got his insurance through his employer, just like most people. Catechus Executive Plan 4 isn't like most people, Counselor. He had executive level. Not like most people at all. David Asher's health plan, insurance policy with Catechus. Paid for through Noble Electronics, included private only offers 3 levels of employer-provided plans that outrank it. Cute, 255. David's fridge. Normally I wouldn't go poking in the pantry at a crime scene, but this was poisoning. Some white wines chilled in the drawer, some real cheap liquors stuffed in the icebox. Old habits. Reyes, you said he left the parlor came with that whiskey from the basement? Huh? That's what the cams show, yeah. There's plenty to drink right here, and unlike the cabinet downstairs, it's actually cold. Must have wanted Rose River in particular. What's that look for? You hungry? I am an android. I do not get hungry. Are you being sarcastic? Only mostly. I thought you said you required organic nourishment. I do ingest organic substances, but that doesn't mean I experience hunger as you do. So when you don't ingest organic substances for a long time, I become tired. What a great feature. And when I'm done digesting, I don't need to know. If now with the chance to survey the crime scene. Yeah. So do you think you know what happened? Detective, is his body still at the hospital morgue? Yeah, he's at Gatesfield, along with 100 noble Megs who've all called dibs. Then I'll just have to cut in line. Sarah, give me a ride to Gatesfield Memorial. But you can't do that, can you? I can, but I need your payment information to get started. Yeah, okay. Understood. On my way down. Got it? Sync complete. Set pickup for 10 minutes should be plenty. The crowd down there seems to have gotten quite large. 10 minutes to reach the pickup spot may be an ambitious target, Adonai. How bad can it be? As I approach the lobby's exit, the building's soundproofing begins to fail. The crowd has gotten bigger, but there's something else happening out there. The energy's not panicked yet, but it's creeping up on the tipping point. Are this many people pissed at Noble for selling androids? The hell's got them all so excited? Adonai, what does that symbol mean? In this rabble, probably something vulgar. Which one? That heart with a bullet hole? The fuck? I don't know. Probably nothing. Based on net association, it appears to be a symbol for the Heartbreak Killer. That doesn't make any goddamn sense. Why would that freak have a symbol or a following or whatever these people are? Why the hell would they be outside David Asher's apartment? Because Noble's trying to cover up the truth. They are? Those Megs and they're scrambling to shred every document they can. We need to stick together, form a perimeter, try and catch them when they dump the scraps. Sarah, what are you hoping to find? Proof that Asher was killed for trying to blow the whistle? Blow the whistle on Heartbreak? Noble doesn't want the world to know that the A-16 is sentient and homicidal. Oh, for fuck's sake. You think that Heartbreak is an android? You think whoever did all that was human? Noble's advanced prototypes went amok and started killing random people. Don't be a lamb, it only looks random. There's a clear pattern as long as you're smart enough to see past the bullshit. Oh, conspiratorial moronity. They are capturing it well, I'll give them that. Oh, okay. How does one see past the bullshit? Stop engaging. Smart kid. She gets it. She's asking the right questions. What the hell are you talking about? No way these victims weren't related. It's got to be a deniable ops. Oh, what the hell does that mean? Deniable fictional classification for clandestine state actions that need not be taken responsibility for because plausible deniability military disinformation efforts create enough confusion in every part involved, even the victims. No such designation exists. Deniable ops are a common recurring concept in online conspiracy theories, often used as a way to wave away questions about why supposedly explosive events are never reported on through the media or addressed by world governments. It's also commonly claimed that deniable ops make ample use of private military contractors in order to further distance from the government, blah, 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 blah. Conspiracy theories are no laughing matter. If you're worried that someone you know might be being indoctrinated or spreading misinformation, you can report them to the state at our local confidential portal here. I mean, you're right that they're no laughing matter. Reporting people to the state, I'm not super down with. Depends on the specifics, I suppose. They must have all been in DO together before getting their records bleached. Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Then, as soon as they've outlived their usefulness, what, are you nuts? Everyone knows the first 6 HK got were the 6 prototypes that came before him. Oh, for fuck's sake. Warring conspiracy theories. God damn. War Mandroid so perfect, no one can tell the diff. Bullet in the heart's the only way you can kill those over-engineered freaks. Everyone's got a goddamn opinion. I see. Stop seeing. Start moving. These people are insane. Why don't you believe some more? Why don't you go eat some more corn slop, you asshole? You think you can be the cyberpunk without ever thinking for yourself? What the hell does that mean? Originally, yep. Yeah. I know its actual origins. While the genre has persisted in modern times and evolved in numerous ways, over the last 2 decades it's taken on a new meaning as a kind of mythologized way of being for the adolescent or disaffected to aspire to. So-called singular cyberpunk has become the 21st century man without a name. Cultural critics, there's no such thing as 21st century heroes. Okay. Why don't you eat... Yeah, I read that. You think it's a coincidence victim number 6 was working at Harco Crops? They're putting something in the food. Those people heartbreak. This is a goddamn embarrassment. The hell am I paying taxes for? The state can't shut this shit down. What about you, Adonai? What do you think about this heartbreak figure? Oh, don't ask me that. You're just a murderer, should be caught and sentenced like any other murderer. But they have some reason for doing such terrible things. Aren't you curious? Why? Are some reasons for committing murder better than others? They might have experienced trauma or abuse. They might have... Millions of people experience trauma and abuse every day. Millions, and yet there's only one heartbreak. So you think they were just born that way? That's my guess. That's unsatisfying. Sad. I don't see why it would be. If heartbreak was born like that, then they never had a chance to be anything else. If heartbreak was born like that, then none of us normal people have to ever worry about turning out like them. That kind of predestination, it means they never have to take responsibility for what they are. The state can make them take responsibility as soon as they catch them. You make it sound so trivial. They're a very dangerous serial killer. Just a serial killer. Just. If HK shot someone every day, it would take them 1,132 years and about 11 months in order to have killed 413,789 people. You did that in your head? I'm good at mental math. You counted the leap years. And what is the significance of that number? Deaths within 18 months of the Blakeford industrial disaster. Why do you have that worked out off the top of your head, Morgan? We're currently limiting traffic related to this particular topic. Oh, what the fuck, man. In the vid I watched about those Doctor Who episodes, they said they were the now deceased gentleman who had them used to work at the BBC, and we don't know how he came to have them. Maybe I'm off base, but I got the distinct impression they were thinking, let's not accuse this dead old man of stealing them. I mean, yeah, that's probably accurate. Times that number by 2 for the injuries, tack on another 183% for birth defects. 414,000 dead, and there wasn't anything evil about it. Just human error, some shoddy welding, and time. So you think heartbreak is nothing by comparison? Perhaps that is the problem then. If they are nothing, if they represent nothing, then they can stand for whatever the crowd wants them to. Please make way. Officials are coming through. Please disperse. Keep walking, pigs. Fascists. Noble owns the cops. I'm not sure about that last one. Only the cops they build in their factories. Very funny. Why are we tolerating this shit? You want me to wade into the crowd with a nightstick and prove them wrong? You know what I mean. We're the only people in the city just trying to do goddamn good. They're all just... That's just part of our job, detective. No offense, man, but wearing a police badge earns you a little more hate than... Do they give prosecutors badges? I have an ID for the parking lot. Does that count? Depends. You ever hesitate to wear it in the open? Don't try and make me sympathize with the fucking cops. Although I get that they would try and get people to sympathize with them. So, like, I will distinguish between what the cop characters are doing and what the narrative's doing. This moral relativism of yours seems like a strange philosophy for someone in your profession, Adonai. Breaking out the thesaurus on me? I'm only being realistic and humble. I'm just one woman, Sarah. Whatever I do, right or wrong, it's less than a % rounding error in the grand scheme of things. Do you tell that to your clients? No, but they come to appreciate it when I win. I don't mean cops in particular. The same deal applies to anyone who works for the state. Terms are stark, but the ink is dried a long time ago, and we all agreed to them. I don't recall voting for it. Well, not voting is how these things come to pass, so we traded freedom for safety, individual rights for collective power. State won, citizens lost. Very least we can do is take their criticisms head on. Look, I don't have a problem with the responsibilities of authority, only with authority being challenged. But they treat us like we're the bad guys. Well, sometimes we are. Sometimes the law is wrong. So if any given individual is too small to ever affect change, so if the public's going to hate us no matter what we do, and if corporations and governments will trample over people the same regardless of their character, and if we can't even be sure we're doing the right thing, what do you do, Adonai? What the hell do we do? I think it's pretty simple. It's not as complicated as you think. In times like these, in a world like this, the only logical way to live is, the only moral way to act is, do whatever it takes to win. Interesting. They have opposing life philosophies yet arrive at the same conclusion. I like that. Nice touch. If I'm insignificant in the grand scheme of things, I can do my worst and no one will notice. If power is inherently evil, holding back won't save your soul. Just fight with both barrels and trust the opposition to do the same. Winner takes all. They put a lot of thought into these characters and how their thought processes work. Yeah, as entertainment, I enjoy Law and Order 255, but yeah, there's a lot of problems with it that it has become the default image a frighteningly large number of people have for prosecution and cops and defense attorneys for that matter. Ugh, thank you. You're a lifesaver. And the next time that Bridezilla texts you, just turn your phone off. Chatty guy must have been due to go on break. When he tried and failed to find the witness medical record, his datapad had the name blacked out. But I did see they have Cataxius Executive 3, more expensive than David, which means they most likely... How do you do that? You need to hold the button to get the doors to close faster. Mashing does nothing. That is not what I meant. There were many others who arrived before us. How did you get us down here so quickly? Well, I didn't do anything. It was that nurse who escorted us. Yes, but you managed to get a stranger like him to help you with so few words. So little information. I don't think you even gave him your name. Haven't you heard of the Golden Rule? Of course I have. Treat others how you would want to be treated. Wrong. Treat others how they would want to be treated. He wanted someone that he could vent to, he wanted someone to pay attention to him, and he wanted to feel appreciated, which meant he'd be eager to help given the chance. Even just reading someone's mood is quite difficult. How can you know how another person wants to be treated? There are no mind readers. No one can ever know anything about what anyone's thinking. Maybe not even themselves. Doesn't matter if they're your parent, your twin, your lover. It'll always be a gamble. That is not a very comforting sentiment. But I think it's fun. Only because you are good at it. How did you get good at it? Same as anything. Observation and practice. You must have been observing and practicing for a very long time then. So we proceed down the hall, bear left, look for the fourth door. I'm gonna open the one that says morgue on it. Whoa! All right, you know what? We're gonna call it there. Just because I don't know if I'm about to get pulled into another extended scene. So, I will have, in the next few hours, up for early access for only one day. I am sorry about that. The the Saturday's video, which is going to be about the rather pitiful music video that AI actress Tilly Norwood put out a couple days ago. So that will be Saturday's video on the main channel. It'll be up in early access for YouTube members and patrons later today. Again, apologies for not getting it up sooner, but my schedule shifted around. That will be that video. Monday is new episode of What's My Own Freaking Podcast? Frack This Podcast. So that is what's coming up in the immediate. On the off chance that anybody in the chat or who sees this today or early enough tomorrow is in the Vermont area, I will be hosting Untapped at the Monkey Bar in Winooski, which is a night of drag and burlesque. Always a fun time. Feel free to show up and tip me extra well. So that's what's coming up in the immediate. I will come back to this on Wednesday next week. Thank you all for joining me. Take care of yourselves. Be well, be safe, and be kind. I'll see you.